Restaurant owners, stop blaming the economy and just fix your menu. That's it. Stop blaming poor managers. Stop blaming the lazy servers, your guests, the economy, the whatever. None of it matters. Your menu is the thing you give every single person in your restaurant. Your menu should be the hardest working salesperson. And if it's not, then that's why you suffer. The thing is that a bad economy, bad training, bad staff, all of that only magnifies the issues in an organization, certainly magnifies the issues within a restaurant. So stop blaming all of those other things and just fix your menu. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. In case you don't know me, my name is Chip Klose. I help independent restaurant owners increase the profitability of their restaurants. I have a podcast. It's called the Restaurant Strategy Podcast. You can obviously watch my videos here or on Instagram or on TikTok, anywhere. I give talks. I wrote a book. I also run something called the P3 Mastermind. It's a group coaching program that helps independent restaurant owners increase the profitability of their restaurants. If you want to learn more about anything that I do, you go down in the captions below. You'll find all of those important links. Okay, if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the time to do it. Make sure to do that. Hit the bell. You'll be notified every time new videos come out. We put out a video at least once every single week. All little tips, tactics, strategies, playbooks to help you be more successful, to make more money, and ultimately work less. Okay, we're going to talk now about your menu. I got 7 points I want to make. I want to drive through them because they matter quite a bit. The biggest thing I need you to do is stop blaming everybody around you. Stop blaming the economy. Stop blaming your servers. Stop blaming your managers. Stop blaming your guests. It is nobody's fault. Your menu exists to solve a problem. Your restaurant exists to serve people. So you just have to make sure your menu is doing some heavy lifting. I always said in the beginning, right? And I always say over and over again that your menu should be the hardest working salesperson on the floor. And I believe it. The key is that you give that thing, that sales collateral, to every single person. So, number one, the economy isn't killing your profitability, but your menu probably is. Here's the deal, right? I want you to, think about inflation and labor and rent and all the delivery apps and rethink this, right? I want you to reframe this. Every economy is a reflection of the businesses that are operating in that economy. So in a down economy, value things go way up. They find more success, right? In a down economy, luxury goods, strangely enough, do well. Everything in the middle, things that are commodity products, end up suffering. Strong menus can survive a bad economy. Weak menus bleed cash even in an okay economy. So if profit is disappearing, it's not out there somewhere waiting to be found. It's printed on your paper. That's the first point I want to make. Number two, most restaurant menus are designed for ego, not economics. Here's what I mean by that, right? Too many items, right? So huge product mix turns into diluted sales, higher waste, slower execution, meaning extended ticket times and extended table turn times. Chefs who fall in love with dishes, owners avoid cutting fan favorites. All of this is problematic. But menus can evolve scientifically, logically, not just emotionally. The result is that you got to run reports. Run your restaurant by the numbers. Look at that product mix. What actually moves? Look at your recipe cards and see where the contribution is coming from. You want items that move, that you sell a ton of, that are also very profitable. I'd rather sell a smaller number of things that make people happier, that make me a lot of money. I'm one of those people who are happier, rather than having something for everyone. You're not the Cheesecake Factory. And here's a little aside. Cheesecake Factory doesn't do anything exceptionally well. They just do a lot of things okay. So their differentiator, the thing that stands that helps them stand out, is the sheer magnitude of their menu. Unless you can out Cheesecake Factory, the Cheesecake Factory, you will not beat the Cheesecake Factory. All right, here's the third point. Here are the silent killers: design and pricing mistakes that no one talks about, right? On your menu, maybe there's no visual hierarchy, right? So meaning everything looks the same. Everything looks equally important. But you can fix that by putting anchors, by putting call-outs, different fonts, different colors, pictures, arrows, boxes. All of that can help you, right? The high margin items should be highlighted. We should be drawing attention to the things that we definitely want to move, and your servers should know what items those are. Guess what? P.S. It's usually some of the more expensive items as well. And since they make 20% commission basically on everything they sell, they've got a vested interest to sell that too. Make sure they know what to sell. Number 4, right? There's math that wrecks restaurants, right? So got to walk through the real numbers, theoretical food cost as well as actual food costs. On paper, I should be at a 27% food cost, but in actuality, I'm at 32%. That 5% food cost is probably 3.5, 4 points to the bottom line of your restaurant. That is keeping you poor. Here we go. Number 5. Raising prices does not necessarily fix a menu. So one of the things I talk about with my clients, right, with the P3 members, are the 5 levers, right? So you renegotiate with your vendor, you find another vendor, you look for another SKU, meaning another ingredient, another product, you play with the portions, and then finally, you increase the price, right? Raising prices like a lazy response is a lazy solution. Sometimes it's inevitable. It has to be done. But there's so much else you can do ahead of time. Again, building on those relationships and then leveraging those relationships with your vendors to get that preferred pricing. If you're not getting that preferred pricing, go leverage one against the other. When you get better pricing at vendor number 2, I'm telling you, vendor number 1 will play ball. So leveraging, pitting one against the other is a valid negotiation technique. Number 3, eventually, if you say, well, I just can't get a good enough price for this product, then you go back to your vendors and say, okay, give me another comparable product at a better price point because I really don't want to raise my prices. Then we've got portion control, right? Shrinkflation, it's called. Remember when those little 20-ounce Coke bottles went to 16.9 ounces? Look it up. The bottle looks the same, but it's less volume. Guess what? Same price. This happens over and over and over again. Big box stores, retail, and yes, in restaurants. And you can do it also. And then finally, only when push comes to shove, can you raise the price. Here's point number 6, right? You have to engineer a profitable menu starting today. A lot has been talked about menu engineering. You can go look it up. You don't need this video to show you, right? But you're basically going to graph, build a matrix, an x-axis and a y-axis. On the x-axis, it's items, right? On the right side, it's the number that you sell, right? How the ones that sell the most are on the right side of the diagram. The products you sell the least amount of are on the left side. And then the y-axis, meaning the line that goes up and down, is profitability. So the more profitable items are at the top, the least profitable items are at the bottom. When you look at your entire menu and break it down by category, so apps with apps, entrees with entrees, sides with sides, desserts with desserts, and do this for every category of your menu, right? Specialty cocktails and wines by the glass and side dishes and after dinner drinks. Really do it all up and down and see what actually moves. What you want is everything in that upper right quadrant, meaning you sell a lot of them and they're very profitable. Said this at the very beginning, but that's how you begin to engineer a menu. When you figure out where everything is, the ones that are in the bottom left, maybe you just cut them. The ones that are in the lower right, meaning that you sell a lot of them, but they're not very profitable, maybe those are the things where you raise the price of. Maybe that's where you shrink the portion size. Likewise, on the upper left corner, right? These are like the things where you make a lot of money on them every time you sell them, but you don't sell them that much. So in a restaurant, maybe it's the high-end lobster or the steak for 2. You simply have to figure out, I think this is a good problem to have, of how do we sell more of them? Because every time we sell them, every time we ring that bell, we make a lot of money. The contribution is huge. We just don't sell that much. Well, then we put our heads together and a bunch of smart people say, well, what could we do to sell more of them? Maybe we feature it more prominently on the menu. Maybe we take it off the menu and just have the servers hand sell it. Maybe we do a separate menu that we call attention to these items. Maybe we have a blackboard. Maybe we run an email about it. Maybe we publicize it on social media. There's so much you can do to just sell something more. You simply have to know what needs to be done so that you know what to do. And then finally, last thing, right? And here's my direct challenge to you. I want you to print out your menu and grab a highlighter, right? I want you to highlight what you actually want your guests to order. Then I want you to circle what they actually order, right? So the things that are high profit that kill, that people love, that gets highlighted. And then you take a pen and you circle all your biggest sellers on your product mix. And when you see the things that are highlighted and circled, that should tell you something. The things that are circled but not highlighted, you're like, oh man, they're ordering stuff I don't really want them to order. This is then where you do a gut check. And then again, there's a lot of things we can do, but just the highlighter and circles, this will tell you a whole lot, seeing where they overlap and see where there's daylight. Here's the deal. That's the 7 points I wanted to show you, right? Economy's not the problem. Your people aren't your problem. Your guests aren't your problem. Your menu probably is your problem. If any of you out there are independent restaurant owners and you struggle with profitability, I urge you to reach down below, find that link, check out more about our program, and grab a time to chat with me or someone on my team about the P3 Mastermind. We've grown it from one group with 10 members all the way up to 150 members spread across 4 different groups. It's an incredible community, and the work we do makes an immediate impact. Again, the P3 Mastermind helps independent restaurant owners increase the profitability of their restaurants. Go down, grab time on the calendar, and I look forward to chatting with you.